Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. My name is Imran Khan. No association with celebrity, I'm afraid. I initially got involved in this appeal purely like everybody else, watching the news, seeing the suffering on the telly, and trying to get involved in a pragmatic way to see what else I can do apart from parting with cash and giving donations to the charities doing fantastic work out there, to see what I can do through my own sweat and energy during Ramadan, to see what impact we as a community can make in Pakistan. Alhamdulillah, we got involved with a group of brothers in Slough and Langley who were sending out, who appealed to send one container full of relief supplies to Pakistan. They had only enough funds to send one container, however, were abundantly sort of supplied with enough relief supplies for about 4 containers. The appeal, alhamdulillah, got to our community, and with your help and other people within Northwest London, we have so far managed to send 14 40-foot containers full of clothes, medicine, food, to that end, once the vessels were loaded, I then decided that it's a responsibility on me to make sure that, like Razianti said, that we need to make sure that every penny that we put down, every grain of rice we donate, is delivered to the victims. On arriving in Karachi, I, like sister before, visited Tata and saw the fantastic work the charities are doing out there. I then decided to try and get to areas where relief hadn't arrived. So I travelled towards Sakkar and Shikarpur, Larkana, Dadu, and what I saw, I'm afraid, I cannot describe with any words, apart from the fact there's nothing there. What is still required and what has at the moment happening there is just the beginning. This disaster has no sell-by date. Like tsunami, like the Haiti earthquake, we're right at the beginning of a disaster. We've had houses washed away, we've had agriculture destroyed, we've had families displaced, and at the moment, if we don't continue this effort, we are going towards something that we're never going to witness, inshallah. What I've seen out there at the moment is the suffering of women and children that is not paramount to anything else in this world so far. I was involved in the Bosnia conflict, I was involved in the Kosovan conflict, and to that end I have only seen things happening there that we as human beings would not like to see repeated. And at the moment, the charities that are working out there are doing a fantastic job, however, are limited due to the poor infrastructure in our country. The main issue at the moment is food, medicine, and the survival of life. I totally understand the objective for rehabilitation, but we cannot start rehabilitation until we save lives. The ground at the moment is not ready to build on. It is still, what I saw 2 weeks ago was around 8 feet of water in most places. It's receding by around a foot a week. Therefore, we are still at least 2 months away before we can even start thinking about rebuilding on that land. Once the land is rebuilt, once the houses are rebuilt, we have to still ensure that these people who are going back, like the sister mentioned, that they're giving 5,000 rupees and enough food for a month. It's not only the food for a month, they actually need food for at least a year. Because until they go back to their lands, until they go back and start the agricultural process, they need money for seeds, they need money for rebuilding their businesses, and we have to sustain them for at least another year before these guys can start getting back on their own feet. I prepared a short presentation which probably nowhere near as detailed as the sisters. However, it will give you a recap of what we've done so far in this community and also, inshallah, what we plan to do ahead. Excuse me. These are the slides that we sort of randomly picked up. These aren't my own pictures. This is actually what you see in most of the villages. This is probably a better one because they're still building, there's still walls standing. Most of the area is just nothing, it's blank. These aerial shots given by the army who were delivering the relief supplies that we provided from via PIA. I'd like to also add just to the story of the sisters talked about in terms of child abuse. I personally witnessed a very unfortunate incident where a child was being sold for transport. I've seen children being sold for sacks of rice, and this is, in this day and age, not very far from Karachi. I'd just like to thank the older generation, especially my parents, who came to this country, thanking them that that could have been me. My wife and I are still going to continue this collection process in Harrow. At the moment we're still collecting medicine, food, 10 sleeping bags, clothes and blankets, baby food and milk, anything that you can give. Our house is open from 9 o'clock in the morning till midnight every night, and inshallah we're going to continue this collection for at least another year. We've got our own vehicles transporting the donations to the warehouse in Langley, where every week, mashallah, we plan to send at least one container out. And as well as the freight containers, PIA, mashallah, have given us an allowance of 15 tons per flight, where we can provide palleted food to them. And they can be delivered to any charity of your choice. We have selected 2 charities while I was out there. One is called Mission Rescue Pakistan, and the other one is Sahara Trust for Life, which is organised by a pop star you may all know, Abrar al-Haq, who, mashallah, who I can prove his sincerity by the fact that he himself has adopted 2 children from the camp in Karachi. So my contact details you can get from Auntie Razia. Inshallah, please support us and continue to work with us to ensure that we can carry this operation on for at least another year and that we can relieve the suffering of the victims and inshallah rebuild Pakistan. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Imran. Are there any questions that anyone would like to ask Imran or Hannah about the work they have done?
I just want to ask in what way can we deliver the clothes and medicine?
We're accepting them in black bin liners. So any clothes you may have, please, black bin liners, ideally